Good afternoon, Bagley community. This is Mark Benson, the new high school principal, coming to you from our high school to just kind of go over a few items that are going to look a little bit different this school year due to COVID-19. One of the first things we want to highlight is that we're asking all our staff and students to take a health screening prior to come into school. So what does that mean for you? We're asking you to ask your children if they are exhibiting any of the COVID-related symptoms prior to putting them on the bus or dropping them off at school. So what does that look like? Well, it'd be making sure that they don't have a fever, and that would be a fever of 100.4 degrees. Or if they're not feeling fatigued, they don't have a headache, nausea, or vomiting, shortness of breath, congestion or a runny nose, a loss of taste or smell, a new cough, body aches, sore throat, diarrhea. If your child has any of these symptoms, we ask that they stay home and potentially see a doctor to make sure that they do not, in fact, have COVID-19. And we're doing this to make sure that we can keep everybody as safe as possible. Once again, our doors will not be opening until 8 a.m. When students do enter the building, we ask that they come in an orderly fashion. Please be mindful of your social distancing protocols. Walk on the right-hand side of the hallways to create a clear traffic flow. And please go directly to your classroom and meet with your first hour teacher. Again, walk on the right-hand side of the hallway and go directly to your classroom to meet with your first hour teacher. So this year, we're asking everybody to wear a face covering while they're in the building. So what does that look like? Typically a cloth or paper mask, and you want to make sure that it's seated properly on your face to cover your chin or lower your mouth and your nose. That way it cuts down on the misting that is projected when we speak. Also, we know that it's going to be uncomfortable for everybody to wear a mask throughout the entire day. We need to build up our stamina. So we'll be offering mask breaks and the opportunity to remove your mask during lunch while you're actively eating. So what does that look like? Typically, most people will just pull the mask to the side and let it dangle from one ear. But if you're taking a longer break, you can remove it completely, put it in your pocket, or in a safe spot. Please do not trade masks with your buddy. All right? And then when your break's over, again, make sure that you seat your mask to cover your mouth and your nose. Most masks will have a small wire for crimping around your nose to keep it tight. Again, we're doing this to make sure that we can keep us all safe as possible. So what will the classroom environment look like? Every classroom will be set up in the same manner. We will have columns and rows. We have roughly 75% of our student body in the in-person model currently, and so that will allow us to spread out our students in a checkerboard fashion and make sure that everybody has enough room to learn in a safe environment. This year, going directly to class and keeping your hands to yourself takes on a heightened sense of importance. This means that you will not have the opportunity to hang out in the hallway and chat with your friends. It also means that when you walk down the hallway, you should keep your hands off of the lockers and walls. Entering a classroom, don't tap the top of the doorway or brush your hands against the knobs or the doorway itself. Please go directly to your class and only sit in your assigned desk. This is meant to keep us as safe as possible. Lunch is also going to look a little bit different. This year, we have social distancing markers to give us two separate lines to take us into the cafeteria area. Unfortunately, we're only going to be able to offer one meal this year. Everybody will be having the same lunch, so you can go either line and get the same meal. Our lunch ladies will be serving it up for you. You'll enter the cafeteria area, grab your tray, and then come through one of the designated areas to punch in your number for lunch. At the tables, we are asking that we have only 4 students per table to start the school year. That'll make sure that we can distance everybody, 2 per side, and make sure that everybody's eating in a safe environment. Again, at the lunchtime while you're actively eating, you will not need a face covering on. Just make sure that when you take your face covering off, you keep it in a safe spot and put on your own face covering after lunch. We do not want to share face coverings because that could lead to bad things. We appreciate your supporting this. If tables are all taken up in the cafeteria, when you come through, we will have overflow seating in the gymnasium. Again, a nice area to eat. And then after you eat, you can go ahead, turn your tray in, and go outside to our courtyard to enjoy some fresh air and some time without your mask. Again, please make sure that you keep a safe distance and just kind of interact in an appropriate manner. We do this to keep each other as safe as possible. Thank you. Good hygiene is always important, but this year it's imperative. So we are scheduling in opportunities to take some hygiene breaks, but it's also remember to wash your hands after every bathroom use and especially prior to lunch. So what does that look like? It is using soap and water and washing for 20 seconds or more. Once you've washed your hands, you can utilize your hand towels to touch any high touch areas without getting your clean hands exposed again.